One of the features affecting farm life, adding to the bureaucracy, it's not a common one, but it does come up from time to time, is the whole issue of compensation and compensation claims. Now, maybe you're on the wrong end of it and your cattle have got out somewhere and trashed somebody's pride and joy garden, and that's not one you want. Of course, that can be very traumatic and difficult. Or maybe it's one of the utility companies. Let's think of a happier situation. They want to come on your land and they want to do some work to some installation or other, a pipeline or a wire or something of the sort, and you've got to get cattle out of a place and keep them off that land and give access and deal with the mess afterwards. Compensation then becomes due when you have to do all the paperwork associated with making a claim. So you've been put to trouble, maybe mess has been made or damage been done, and the question arises, who is going to pay for that? Now, a few years back, water company needed to come on here, do some work on a big main, and they had to go through our land. This is the boundary on the far side, and as you can see, they've marked the post because they've been through there, and as you can see, the fence has still got a hole in it. Now, we had a man here, a valuer, and he said, oh, it's going to be X amount of money. He sorted it out with the company for us, very good, and dealt with that. They were supposed to mend this fence, but as you can see here on this boundary, this far field, they've not mended the fence at all. The dogs are just going through the gap. Who's going to pay for that? There's the question. Well, in the case of my bit of fence here, the answer is obvious. It should have been the water board or whoever they call these days, but he didn't do it, so it's just going to be easiest, least hassle, to just patch it up. And so often that's the case for us when the question arises, who's going to pay for that? The danger is you don't do a proper job, you just patch it up, and that's not great. And of course, that's got a lot to do with the Easter season we're dealing with at the moment. Who's going to pay for that? Well, the Bible says in Hebrews 10:12, but this man, it's talking about Jesus, after he'd offered one sacrifice for sin forever, sat down on the right hand of God. This man, after he'd offered one sacrifice for sin forever, sat down on the right hand of God. Compensation was due. Damage had been done to the world that God had made. Human beings had no way of paying that compensation. There's no insurance for that. But this man, after he'd offered one sacrifice for sin, forever, done deal, paid up, no more to pay, that's it forever, sat down on the right hand of God. So there you have it. God had put fences around the way humans should behave, rules and laws and regulations as to how we should behave in his creation. And we barged through the fence, we broke it down and we went through into the wilderness beyond. Don't own that field over there, that's not mine. And yeah, who's going to pay the price of the damage that was done? Well, Easter and Jesus. This man, after he'd made satisfaction for sins once and forever, sat down at the right hand of God. Sat down because the job was done. At the right hand of God because God sits on a throne. And in the East in those days, the old potentates had a big throne that other people could sit on, more like a settee, sit with and rule, the regent. There he is, Jesus, having made satisfaction for sin because we'd broken through the fences. Now sat down, having paid the price of sin on the cross, been raised from the dead to show he'd actually paid it, and it was all paid up and dealt with once and forever, back to life again. There he is, sat down at the right hand of God. There's your Easter message. There's my word for the week. I hope you have a great post-Easter week. God bless you.